who the hell we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? It's UFC 323 Fight Week. We have a 2-title fight pay-per-view coming at you from Las Vegas, Nevada this week. Merab Dvalishvili returns, defending his championship against Petr Yan in a matchup that these two will have for the second time. Eddie, Merab comes into this one as a really big favorite. Does that surprise you? 52 takedown attempts in the first matchup, broke the division record first time around. Do you see anything going differently this time?
No, this is gonna be the same thing. Merab is the same. Just recycle. Keep doing it because no one can stop it. Who's gonna stop him? No one can stop him. Like millions of takedown. Petr Yan hasn't shown he can stop a takedown, right? Like it's gonna be the same old story. 4 title defenses in 1 year. Merab's gonna be the best bantamweight of all time.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's going for that historic 4th title defense. Now, Petr Yan is coming off 3 wins in a row after a pair of losses, coming back into the title picture here. Has Dawson, Figueiredo, and some other top names to get back in the title picture. Do you think this form of Petr Yan is better than the one that Merab faced the first time around?
Oh, absolutely. Once you get experience with a guy like Merab in there, and then obviously his opponents after that, 3 in a row and everything, the wins and everything, and going off to Thailand and doing all kinds of different things that Petr Yan has actually done, including an attitude adjustment. He's actually nice now. It's really weird. It was really odd to see him laughing at media day, I'll tell you that much. But he, yeah, dude, he's had experience with him already in there, so he's definitely better. It's not going to be good enough, but it's definitely better.
Yeah, so for me, and then I'm going to take Merab by decision. I think that we're going to get a lot similar matchup to what we saw the first time. Petr Yan is competitive. He's not one of these guys like O'Malley who's like, listen, in between the fights with O'Malley came and said, I didn't take the first fight with Merab seriously. He had all these excuses for why he didn't win the first time. Petr Yan is not one of those guys who comes up with these type of excuses. I think that he is someone who put his best foot forward in that matchup, and I don't know if he'll be able to even perform as well as he did the first time. So maybe Merab gets a finish on him the second time around, just like he did Sean O'Malley in their 2 matchups. But I'm going to go with Merab Dvalishvili in this one by decision. Eddie, which way are you going?
Same. Merab by decision. He's just going to take him down, beat him up. Maybe he'll kiss him a couple times. Who knows? But he's going to take this by decision.
Yeah. And honestly, Eddie, I know that, we can't really be – beggars can't be choosers. We're at the end of the year, last pay-per-view card. But were you a little disappointed in we did have 2 title fights here, but it's not necessarily the most household names here for the casual fight fans?
I'm disappointed, no, because they spent the entire year putting the light heavyweight on there, the lightweight title and the featherweight title. The 2 divisions that people call boring for some dumbass reason is 135 and 125. So what do? Package them at the end and be like, hey, ESPN.
I guess that's a good point. The end of the ESPN, why go out there and waste 2 stars when you got the Paramount Plus cards coming up to start the next year? Obviously, we have the Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett matchup that we talked about last week. But, Eddie, we've got another title fight to talk about on this one. Are you going Merab by decision quickly before we?
Yeah, definitely.
That's the way you're going, Merab decision. So we have a second title fight in this card, flyweight title fight. And I think that we're probably more excited about this one. Alexandre Pantoja, someone who's really moved up the division's historical rankings here. Only Demetrius Johnson, in my opinion, has been a better flyweight champion than Pantoja. He has gone in there and beaten Brandon Moreno, beaten all these guys. You've seen him beat Kaya Sakura coming over from Ryzen. He's going to take on another fresh-faced guy here in Joshua Van. But for Van, he's coming off the win over Brandon Royval, had a couple decision wins in a row before that, but we've seen him be finished in the UFC by Charles Johnson. Do you think Pantoja is going to drag the young Joshua Van into those deep waters later in this fight, in those 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds that Van has not experienced yet? Or do you think Joshua Van is so talented and so athletic that it's his time right now in this division, Eddie?
I have a hard time believing anybody on this roster at the moment can beat Pantoja. The guy is a master of his craft. He doesn't come out here talking. You don't see him, doing videos, snorting coke and dancing with strippers at the freaking club or anything. The guy is a legitimate businessman. That's how he does. What is his business? Fighting. How does he work on his business? Every single day. That dude is as serious as they come. he should honestly be spoken about in a much higher, echelon, I guess you want to call it, or a much higher, prestige than he is, right? This guy, again, another guy that could go down as the best flyweight of all time. He's that damn good. And anytime you try to expose one of the holes in his game, which he doesn't have very many, if at all, he just goes, okay, it's a strength now, and I'm going to beat you up with it. It's really wild to see.
So for you bettors out there, minus 225 for Alexandre Pantoja, plus 190 for Joshua Van. Eddie, if we look at this fight stylistically, I do think that if Pantoja cannot get this one to the ground, that obviously Joshua Van is, probably going to have an advantage on the feet against him. He hits hard. He's younger. He's got the good boxing background. Do you kind of see that Pantoja might have some trouble with the young Joshua Van if he can't get him to the ground?
I don't think so. I think could he have to? Yes. Can he do it? Absolutely. Right. But his advantage is Joshua's disadvantage, experience, and a ton of it in title fights on the big stage with everything on the line. This guy has so much experience with that already, and Van doesn't. So he's going to lean into another strength. That's how good this dude is.
Yeah. And for Joshua Van, Eddie, we've had these title contenders come up in the past, like Steve Erceg, Kaya Sakura. These guys come out of the woodwork really after one or two fights. And in Kaya Sakura's situation, he had no fights and debuted into a title fight. So for Joshua Van, I think this is well-deserved. And I think that he is honestly a better contender and a better challenge for Pantoja than Steve Erceg was and Kaya Sakura was as well.
Highly agree. Definitely agree. And his camp, the camp he comes from is so good. Like the dude he's got all the tools to win it and to do something in this fight. But do I think he's going to do it? I just don't see how he could do it. But I'll tell you right now, if he pulls it off, I'll be one of the happiest dudes out here because I love seeing, the changing of the guard and champions have to be, come back from a loss and everything. So this could be set up for a nice little rematch later on.
And I believe Joshua Van is 24, 25 years old. He's not over the age of 25, I don't believe. What do we have here for his age, Eddie? I can't quite see that on the screen from my phone.
Looking it up right now, 24.
Yeah, he's a young kid here. And Pantoja is 35, a 10-year, 11-year age gap here. Eventually, Pantoja is going to lose this strap. Is it going to be to the young kid Joshua Van this weekend? I don't know. I think Eddie's right with the experience. And I'm going to have to side with Alexandre Pantoja in this one by decision as well. Maybe he can submit Joshua Van late, but we haven't really seen Joshua Van have problems on the ground so far. So from what I've seen, I think he's going to be able to defend himself well throughout the fight, but it's going to go to Pantoja on the scorecards.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'll go. You know what? I could even see Pantoja finishing Van. I really could. As good as Van is and as tough as he is, I could see Pantoja getting a finish, but I will go with decision as well.
Yeah. We stay in the flyweight division on this UFC pay-per-view card here. Brandon Moreno takes on Tatsuro Taira. Moreno, the former champion at 125 pounds, trying to get back into the title picture against the 17-1 Tatsuro Taira from Japan. Taira's lone loss came via split decision to Brandon Royval. A similar loss happened for Brandon Moreno against Royval. Both of these guys have lost to them by split decision. And I see this fight like this. Tatsuro Taira, in my opinion, is one of the best guys on the ground, technically, in the division, if he can get the fight there. Does he have the physical strength to get Brandon Moreno to the ground consistently in this three-round contest? That's where I think this fight's going to be won or lost. So if Moreno can keep it standing, I think that he's going to utilize leg kicks and that good boxing that he has with his tough Mexican style of aggressiveness moving forward. And I think he's going to make Tatsuro Taira fight off the back foot against the cage and put him in really bad situations. But if Taira can get this fight to the ground, maybe he can lock up a submission early. He is that good and that talented when he gets the fight to the floor.
This is one of a couple retirements we could see. We're definitely getting one retirement. This is another retirement we could definitely see on this card, especially it losing to a guy like Taira. No shit on Taira whatsoever. But if we compare, we compare the resumes, it's not even close to Brandon's, right? So what I see in this fight is Brandon Moreno having to basically show us, like, I still want to be here. I still want to go for that title. I'm still that guy, right? Taira's coming in trying to prove I am that guy. I could take a former champ out and I could take his spot. With Brandon Moreno getting it to he can get taken down. We've seen him get taken down. The thing is, he's so good at getting back up, right? So just like you said, can Taira keep him down and hold him down and work his game from there? I think for the first, 2 rounds, maybe round and a half, he's going to have a real hard time keeping Brandon down. He has to be able to hurt Brandon to the body or somewhere to basically kind of start breaking the will of the former champion. On the other hand, I could absolutely see Brandon Moreno going, all right, hey, you want it. You asked for it. You got it, motherfucker. Let's go. Putting it to Taira, putting him on the cage, beating him up, taking a decision, a decision 3 rounds in.
Yeah, honestly, Eddie, I'm really surprised when I'm looking at the odds here. Minus 125 for Tatsuro Taira, plus 105 for Brandon Moreno. Now, like you're saying, it could be the retirement fight for Brandon Moreno. He's been in all of those wars before. But you did mention in the fight previously that experience was a big factor for Alexandre Pantoja. And I think that experience at a high level is a really big factor in this one for Brandon Moreno just the same. He's fought guys like Tatsuro Taira in the past who are good jiu-jitsu guys. He's been in there with champions like Pantoja who are great on the ground. So I'm going to have to take Brandon Moreno in this one. And Eddie, I would not be surprised if he got some type of stoppage win, maybe late in the 3rd round with an accumulation. Maybe he finds a body shot against the cage and can get Tatsuro Taira out of there. When Taira couldn't get the fight to the ground against Brandon Royval, he did not look great. When he was, at distance striking with Royval, but that's also one of Royval's, highly, one of his best strengths. So we're going to have to see, but I like Brandon Moreno in this one. And I like him probably by 3rd round TKO.
I would be happy as hell if that happened. All right. But I'm got him by decision. I think Taira is a tough guy to take out anyway.
Yeah, certainly. So are you going to go with Tatsuro Taira, or are you going to go with Brandon Moreno? Moreno by decision. Yeah, I think this is a really close one. And like you're saying, it's hard to get Tatsuro Taira out of there, but I don't see Taira necessarily getting Moreno out of there either. So I think it does go to decision. You mentioned that we might have another we might have another retirement. Henry Cejudo has announced that this will be the last fight in his career, taking Talbott. Payton Talbott had a lot of hype behind him before he ran into Ronnie Barcelos as an 11-1 favorite, losing that fight as Barcelos, the Brazilian veteran, took him to the ground and dominated on the ground with his grappling. Can Henry Cejudo do a similar game plan to Ronnie Barcelos? He has the Olympic background. Eddie, we just really haven't seen Henry go, for the takedowns at the same rate he was earlier in his career. I don't know if it's the knees. I don't know really necessarily what it is. But when you look at guys like him or Kamaru Usman or some of these wrestlers who are late in their career, it doesn't seem like they're necessarily as, they don't necessarily want to go for the 12 takedown attempts in one fight, for the 4 takedown attempts in one round. But I do think Henry Cejudo, if he can get this fight to the ground, is going to have some good moments against Payton Talbott, but he can't get stuck at range on the feet.
Yeah, the thing about guys like Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman, by the way, they're friends and have a podcast together, okay? This is key, is that they understand this is more than just a sport now. This is entertainment. So you cannot be a guy that's just crotch sniffing the entire fight and expect to get opportunities. The reason Kamaru Usman's being talked about for a title fight is because he doesn't do that the whole time. Like, he uses it for sure, but he doesn't just do that. Henry Cejudo's kind of done the same thing. People used to say he fell in love with his hands. I don't think so. I think his hands are good, and so he uses it. But he hasn't had to use that wrestling. I expect to see a lot more wrestling in this one from him, and taking him down and beating him up, because hey, it's the last fight. I could give a shit if Uncle Dana likes it or not. And we might have frozen here, folks. We have a blizzard going on in Chicago. So my guys dealing with it right now. It's kind of wild, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, all right. So yeah, this fight alone, again, not a title fight, but again, the end of Henry Cejudo's career and the continuation of a younger guy, right? For Talbot, this is absolutely the fight of his career. If you beat a former champion, right, a gold medalist, from the Olympics and wrestling and everything, it's a huge get for your resume. Talbot could definitely use this to propel up to the top 5, maybe top 10, and get himself a title shot sooner than later. So it's something to be expected here to see Payton Talbot have to deal with the wrestling Henry Cejudo in my mind. Henry's going to come out trying to make it entertaining for sure. But end of the day, he's not trying to go out on a loss. He's trying to go out on a win. And if he can make it a finish, even better. But a win is a win is a win. So it'd be cool to see him go out on a victory here. and and put the gloves down on a W instead of put the gloves down on a loss, because it always sucks to see a guy lose. And by the way, UFC, you guys better have that freaking what do they call it, the tribute video ready, not like you did to Stipe. Right? Stipe retired and they played his shit in China. No one saw it. Like nobody saw it. So y'all do not drop the ball. You know what I mean, motherfuckers? Yeah. Like get it together. And what's up, Jake? Jake saying happy retirement to Henry and Rush. Yeah. Dealing with Rush, Mr. Yeah. Dude, Rush has things already in the works. It's kind of wild.
Henry and Rush.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was on my phone there and, dealing with a little bit of a blizzard here back in Illinois. But yeah, I mean, I hope Henry could go out there and put a good showing. The last fight against Song Yadong when he got poked in the eye, Eddie, that wasn't necessarily the greatest showing to go out on. So I hope that he can go out here and perform competitively. And I'm going to take him by decision in this one as an underdog. I think that the grappling background is going to be too much for Payton Talbott.
Yeah, I'm taking a Henry by decision on a just go out on a win. That's it. Like I think the name of the game is win this one because this is the last one.
Yeah. Eddie, we moved from the the 135-pound division to the 205-pound division, where we have former champion Jan Blachowicz taking on rising contender Bogdan Guskov. Guskov has finished 4 fights in a row, while Blachowicz is one of the most experienced fighters in this division. Which way are you going in this one, Eddie? I kind of like Bogdan Guskov, who's the younger fighter, in my opinion, the more athletic fighter. He's on a little bit of a roll recently.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. Jan Blachowicz is kind of like a guy that's kind of been hanging around and very much in that gatekeeper spot. If you beat Jan Blachowicz, you're on your way to a title shot, Barton. That's why guys take the fight against him. You do not want to fight a guy who calls it Polish power, because that guy could crack, right? But you take it if there's something worth it. So, Bogdan's got to be thinking about that right now. Win this fight, and you're on your way. Lose this fight, you don't really lose a lot because he's a gatekeeper. He's a former champ and all that. So, and by the way, Jan Blachowicz doesn't really get anything out of a win in this one because he's beating an up-and-comer. He's not beating a guy above him.
Yeah, and when you look at the last couple losses for Jan Blachowicz, losing to Carlos Olberg and some of these guys that he's lost to, these guys are no joke, right? So this is kind of a step down in competition for Blachowicz. Do you think this is kind of a win or leave town situation for Blachowicz? Do you think we could see a retirement from him, given the fact that he is over 40 years old? He's come back from injury in the past. He's been to the top. He's probably 3 wins away from another title opportunity himself after the little bit of losses that he, loss streak that he went on. Do you think that we could see the last fight from Jan Blachowicz this weekend?
It definitely could be, but I think it depends on his performance, right? If he goes out there and he gets finished, I think he's going to definitely start thinking about it, if not decide already that he's going to be done. If he goes out there and puts on and wins, obviously he's going to keep going. But if he puts on a good performance, right, he keeps it real close. They have a barn burner, whatever you want to call it. I think he's going to lean towards staying, right, and at least trying to go out on a win. But I think if he loses this one, like he gets embarrassed, he gets finished, or he gets dominated, like there's no question he'll be done. Because like you said, 40 years old with the light heavyweight division, not the most exciting, but definitely has a lot of names in it, and he'll be waiting plenty. It's gonna be it's gonna be something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, so when I look at this one stylistically, I see Bogdan Guskov as a guy who comes forward at all times. He's got some submissions, sneaky submissions on the ground, but primarily looking to land big shots on the feet. He's going against a guy in Jan Blachowicz who's fought Alex Pereira. So he's fought guys with extreme power. He's fought guys that bring exactly what Bogdan Guskov has to the table. It's just what version of Jan Blachowicz are we going to get on fight night? That's what I'm interested in. I think the best version of Jan Blachowicz, the championship version of Jan Blachowicz, beats Bogdan Guskov. But Bogdan Guskov just on this streak, the athleticism, 6'3", younger than this guy. It's his time to come up now. I got to take Bogdan Guskov, and Eddie. I think he's going to get this fight. I think he's going to get a finish here. I think he might get Jan Blachowicz out of there. He might.
I'm taking Bogdan by decision because I think Jan's going to make it real tough. Obviously, Jan can wrestle, right? We've seen him wrestle plenty, but I think it's going to be a tougher fight than I think Bogdan expects even. But I do got Bogdan winning by decision for sure.
Do you think he can hurt Jan Blachowicz? Like Jan Blachowicz has fought these powerful punchers in the past, like Pereira, never got finished by him. He's fought Carlos Olberg, who we just saw beat Dominic Reyes, another really heavy puncher. Do you think Bogdan has anything for him that he hasn't seen before, to the point where he can hurt him and get him out of there?
No, he doesn't have anything that Yan hasn't seen before. The difference is at 40 plus years old, your reflexes, your reactions are just slow enough in a game where a millisecond can make a difference. And I think Yan is at that point where he's just a tad bit slow. So everything becomes more important for him. His timing becomes more important. How he lands, where he lands shots is more important. How he takes shots, more important, right? So he's got to get real scientific and real anal about this in order to not get cracked and beat by Bogdan, or finished by Bogdan. But no, no one's gonna bring anything that Yan hasn't ever seen before because Jan's been around for so damn long, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking too. And with Cejudo and Blachowicz, I wouldn't take all these guys, but they come in as underdogs. You just don't think that all of them are going to come in here and win by decision. But certainly, all these experienced fighters could come in here and get it done and turn back these young contenders. Eddie, as I go to the odds for this fight, we have Jan Blachowicz minus 130 as a slight betting favorite. Bogdan Guskov plus 110. Does that surprise you a little bit?
No, I'm not surprised. Everyone's leaning on the age of Bogdan being younger and being on a streak or being on a decent run against Jan's experience. Bottom line. So I'm not surprised it's that close.
Yeah, I'm really excited with this fight. I think that we could potentially get a fight of the night contender between these two. Neither one of them are unentertaining or put on black performances. So be sure to tune in for that light heavyweight matchups. Eddie, we moved to the lightweight division, 155 pounds. Grant Dawson, other than the loss to Bobby Green, Grant Dawson has looked tremendous in his career here in the UFC. He is going to be taking on Manuel Torres, who we've seen multiple times here at the Sphere card, I believe. He was on last year as well. Very dangerous. He can finish the fight standing. He can finish the fight on the ground. But Grant Dawson is one of the best wrestlers we have in the UFC, Eddie. Do you think Grant Dawson is going to grind his way to a victory here? Or will Manuel Torres be slick enough on the ground to keep this one standing and then land those big punches he's known for?
Look, Grant better take him down and keep him down the first time. Because if Manuel Torres gets back up, he's going to hit him. He's going to crack this dude because Torres puts everything into every shot he throws. He's not a 50% or anything. He just has that good of a gas tank to be able to throw 100% the whole time. And the Mexican style is really difficult to beat. Grant's going to try and wrestle. Grant already said, look, and he talked to our own Mike Owens. We have our interview up here on YouTube. You guys want to check it out after the show. But he already said, I'm not trying to brawl this guy. I'm trying to take him down. I'm trying to grind him down. So everyone knows what Grant's going to try and do. Everybody knows what Manuel's going to try and do. The difference is, the way I see it, is if Grant can't keep him down, hold him down the whole time, he's gonna get he's gonna get hit, right? And we're gonna find out what kind of chin Grant Dawson has right now because Manuel Torres is gonna test it for sure. Yeah,
I think so too. And I don't want to say that Grant Dawson doesn't like getting hit. I don't believe that, but he reacts. I mean, the Bobby Green fight didn't look great. And Manuel Torres does have that power to where he can put somebody out there just like Bobby Green does. He's just as dangerous as him, maybe even more dangerous than him on the feet. So I think this is a more interesting fight than people are giving it credit for. As I go to the odds here, fight fans, we have Grant Dawson as a significant betting favorite, minus 220. Torres plus 185. I think if you're going to take Torres in this one, you might as well take him by finish. I do not see him winning a decision, but if he does get a win in this contest, I think he's out of there. Now, I am going to take Grant Dawson with my prediction in this fight. I do think that he gets a decision victory, but I think there are going to be times that Manuel Torres puts him in danger in this contest.
Manuel Torres, second round knockout. I think Grant Dawson's going to be so desperate to take him down that he's going to eat a knee or something, some uppercut or something crazy. That's definitely going to be in there. Of course, Grant already planned for this. But again, it's just if you can't take him down and keep him down, you're in trouble when he gets back up. He's going to make you pay.
Yeah. So there we have this weight matchup. Certainly tune in for that on the pay-per-view main card, fight fans. We are going to go to the rest of the card here. We have a stacked prelim as well to this main card. The first prelim, or I should say the last prelim before the main card, is Terrence McKinney and Chris Duncan. We stay at 155 pounds here. Terrence McKinney Eddie, he has a lot of potential. He's won 4 of his last 5 contests. The only loss coming to Esteban Ribovics. Obviously, that was a highlight reel knockout loss, but he bounced back nicely with 2 wins after that contest. But Chris Duncan, Eddie, is one of the toughest individuals that we have at 155 pounds right now. He's got a great ground game. We saw the one-punch knockout power that he had on the Contender Series versus Charlie Campbell. I think, honestly, that Chris Duncan is one of the most well-rounded fighters in this division. I'm going to take him to beat Terrence McKinney this weekend.
If Terrence McKinney doesn't finish his fight in the first 2 minutes, done. That's what he's shown us. He's shown us over and over again. If he can't knock you out in the first round, for sure, certainly like quickly right away, ain't gonna help you, right? And Chris Duncan's a tough dude. And guess what? He knows what Terrence is gonna do. Everybody knows what T-Mac's gonna try and do. And T-Mac kind of falls in love with that blitz power that he has. And I think Duncan knows it, and Duncan's gonna mitigate it and beat it.
I was just about to say he's going to blitz forward from the southpaw stance, try and make you react. And if you go to the ground, Terrence McKinney does have those good headlock. He just had a good guillotine submission over Versov Borishev. He's also got a good front headlock, good Darce chokes. So he does have a sneaky ground game, but Chris Duncan's great on the ground as well. And he's beat other good grapplers like that Ashmuz guy from Israel as well. So I think that I'm going to take Chris Duncan in this one by decision. I don't know if he gets Terrence McKinney out of there, but we've seen Terrence control the ground earlier in his career as well. I'm going to take Chris Duncan in this. But honestly, Eddie, it could end by knockout in the first round. Terrence is an early starter. Chris Duncan's got a lot of big power. Terrence can come forward and get something, or he could also, like you're saying, blitz Duncan and get out of there if everything goes perfectly for him. So I think this is going to be a high action fight for as long as it lasts.
Yeah, no, I got Chris Duncan by decision. It's going to be a grind out because McKinney's going to gas out. You know what I mean? You know what? It might even be a finisher for Duncan because if Terrence, again, he's going to blitz, and if he can't get you out of there quickly, that tank is going to get taxed big time, and Duncan's going to win it. So I'm hoping, just for the sake of the fight, that McKinney worked on that gassing of his and comes in a lot more patient and not just trying to get Chris Duncan out of there, because Chris Duncan, you're not going to get him out of there in 10 seconds.
Absolutely. Now, Eddie, these 2 next fights that we're going to talk about, in my opinion, easily could have been on the main card of this pay-per-view. Macy Barber versus Karine Silva, a top 10 matchup between 125-pound females here. Macy Barber, coming from America, she at one point in time, she was very young. She thought that she potentially could be one of the youngest champions in UFC history. Now she's making that second push up towards the title. She's gotten some significant wins behind her in her belt. Eddie, do you think she can get it done this weekend versus Silva?
No, only because Barber is like, she lets me down so fucking always. It really bothers me. Like, she's so good. She's very good. Okay. The health scare aside, that thing we still don't have all the answers on. I know she tried to put stuff out there. No one, I'm not trying to downplay what happened to her. Nobody cares. She didn't fight that night. She literally was on the way out to the octagon against Aaron Blanchfield and just turned right around because she had a health issue. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, not attacks against her. The thing is, like, when she fights, she rarely fights to her potential. At least the way I feel it is. And Karine Silva is a tough out for anybody. She's on a come up as well. So I think it's gonna be a much tougher fight. I think Barber could win it. I just don't think she will. I think Karine Silva is gonna gonna grind this one out and win it by decision. But Macy Barber absolutely could win this fight.
There you have it, fight fans. We're going to move on here to the 155-pound division between 2 finishers, Nazim Sadykhov. From Azerbaijan, the Sarah Longo product is taking on Firas Zahim from France. Now, Zahim just knocked out recently one of Sadykhov's teammates in Matt Frivola. There was that contest in France where Ray Longo told Frivola in the corner, turn around, and he turned around right into a knee that Firas Zahim landed there and was a highlight reel knockout. Now, Nazim Sadykhov was involved in a Fight of the Year contender earlier in the year that caught the attention of fight fans everywhere. But he's going to be taking on Firas Zahim, who, in my opinion, is one of the most technical kickboxers in this division at 6'1". He showed that technicality in the clinch against Matt Frivola, a guy who's a grinder and is very aggressive. But Sadykhov is a different fighter than that, right? So I think that Sadykhov is very well-rounded. I think he's good as well on the feet. I think we're going to see a very highly technical kickboxing match between these two, Eddie.
This could be fight of the night. You know what I mean? And I know it's in the prelims, early-ish in the prelims and everything.
Yeah.
But this could absolutely be fight of the night. These two guys are very, very smart. Perez he's kind of not shocked, but he surprised me a little bit in his last couple of fights, being able to show that like sniper ability that he has, and kind of violent. He's pretty violent when he lands. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I like Nazim. Nazim's a fucking awesome dude. He's a good dude, and he's fun as hell to watch and everything. So it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a barn burner, and I think we might get a fight on the night out of this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Hard for me to bet against the Serra Longo fight team, but I really do like the prospects of Faraz Sahim over there in France. So I think this is, like you're saying, it has potential to be fight of the night, maybe the best fight on the prelims as well, Eddie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be one of those fights where this could have been a main event at the Apex. Honestly, to me, it's that good of a fight.
Yeah. So Eddie, we have a former title challenger buried down here on the prelims in a middleweight matchup with Bruno Ferreira. Marvin Vettori has kind of gone on a rough patch of things recently, lost that fight to Dolidze. I believe he's struggling with some things outside the octagon with a loss of a close family member as well, Eddie. But he's got a get-back matchup here against Bruno Ferreira. And Bruno Ferreira is a guy who is very aggressive. He can knock you out if you run into punches. We've seen that in the past. But he is a guy that I believe Marvin Vettori has the skill set to be if he is anywhere near the fighter that he used to be. Is that kind of how you see this one, Eddie?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's one of those things where this is definitely a winnable fight for Marvin. And he could take a punch. That's a good thing because Bruno has like semi trucks for hands sometimes, like when he wants to throw him that heavy, right? So I think this is going to be a fun one to start. But this to me is won or lost in Marvin's head. If he's in there, if he's in the fight, mentally and physically, but mostly mentally, he could absolutely use his skills. I think he's more well-rounded than Bruno. You know what I mean? Even if it's just by a little bit, I think he's more well-rounded. So I think he's going to have the tools to be able to beat Bruno. It's in his head. If he's in it, great. If he's not in it, forget it. It's a non-starter at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think this is a matchup that challenges him. I think this is good matchmaking. They're throwing him in there with a guy where it's like, all right, Marvin, we're going to see what you got left. This guy's going to come at you with some good stuff. But, Eddie, I think Marvin is one of the toughest guys we've had in UFC history. He has a granite chin. He's very hard to get out of there. Adesanya wasn't able to do it. Dolidze's not able to do it twice. So he's been in there with some heavy hitters, right? So I think this is a matchup that Marvin Vettori can win. The volume output for me is the big story for Vettori because in his recent contest, he hasn't been putting those combinations together. We've seen one strike at a time. When you're getting outstruck by Roman Dolidze almost 2-1, it is kind of concerning. You can't just shell up and be a tough guy and win these fights, right? You have to put some offensive output together. So I think that I'm going to take Marvin Vettori as a dog in this one, but we got to see some different things than what we've seen recently.
And we need to see combinations from him, right? The one-hitter quitter stuff and all that. Like it doesn't work for him. He hits hard, right? If you can throw that jab and throw something heavy behind it, great. If you throw that straight right, heavy as shit as all you want to, whatever, that backhand as hard as you want to, great. Follow it with something, a head kick, something. But you can't send single shots down the middle against Bruno Ferreira because Bruno's going to time that and counter you real nasty or take your ass down and beat you up.
Yeah, I think so. This is a fight that Marvin Vettori is going to have to mind his P's and Q's. And for Bruno Ferreira, Eddie, we haven't talked about it. This would easily probably be the biggest win in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. For Bruno, this is a massive, massive fight. Former title challenger, a guy who's been a name at 185 for a very long time. And so he's definitely seeing this as like, hey, I'm going to have my cake, I'm going to eat it too, and I'm going to call somebody bigger out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Eddie, as we moved on down the card here, there are some interesting matchups as well. Jalen Turner, who we talked about a few shows ago, he is making a surprise return to the UFC, and in his return, he'll be facing Edson Barboza, a former contender in this division for countless years, has been a staple of the top 10 here for almost 10 years in the UFC rankings. So, Eddie, I like this matchup. Barboza, Turner, we got two guys the fan bases know and love early on the prelims. I think that this fight stays standing. 6'3" in Jalen Turner, the length, the athleticism versus the technicality and explosiveness of Edson Barboza. Who you got in that one?
Ooh, man. Shoot. A guy that play with retirement against a guy that should fucking retire. That's gonna be it's gonna be a weird one. Like, it's gonna be wild to see. Like, one guy left and came back. The other guy should already be gone. And he ain't leaving. Who knows why? But I think Jalen Turner should win this pretty, not easily, but it's gonna be. I think it'd be a tough out. But I think it's about time that Edson Barboza gets put out the pasture. No offense, I hate to say it that way, but if Jalen Turner lives up to the potential I think you and I both believe he has, he's gonna be able to win this fight and make it look impressive.
Yeah. I agree with everything you just said, Eddie. There was a split decision loss to Gamrot in there. There was another split decision loss as well. We all know what happened in the Renato Moicano fight. He had that fight won. He did not finish it violently like Kerry Hatley wanted him to do. But listen, when you go and you almost kill Bobby Green, and the fight doesn't get stopped, and then the next fight you go out there and maybe you're a little gun shy to be as violent as you were against Bobby Green, and you don't put Moicano out there, and then he comes back and finishes you. I think that really drained on the confidence of Jalen Turner in his next upcoming fight, and I'm glad that he took some time off and is coming back in a matchup that is advantageous to his skill set. I think he comes back here in a get-right contest and finishes Edson Barboza, like Eddie was saying, puts him out into the pasture. And we might see some retirements this week during this pay-per-view fight week, Eddie.
Yeah, definitely. And last fight on ESPN Plus, I wish ESPN would retire. They've been asked like for who knows how long. And I'm not talking about just their stupid app. The entire company has been asked for who knows how long.
I'm about to retire.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah,
I was about
January
to say,
1st.
I'm about a week away from retiring my subscription.
January 1st, folks, I'm bailing on ESPN Plus. I'm bailing on ESPN. I'm bailing on their stupid fantasy football thing. It sucks ass too. Like, ESPN to me has been such trash for so long, right? It's just garbage. So yeah, great.
They've been mailing it in forever.
Oh yeah, dude. They barely put the UFC stuff up anymore. They're like throwing a fit because they know UFC is gone. So it's
Eddie, and I saw something on Twitter. Did you see the Paramount Plus? They had like some promo video for the Gaethje Patty Paramount Plus deal. Like, UFC's coming to Paramount Plus, and it showed all the movies and stuff like that. I really hope we can get these awesome promo packages that we were used to back in the Zuffa era, because now when we've gone to ESPN Plus and it's more cookie cutter UFC, we get Dana White on a phone telling us, what the fights are announced and stuff. I hope we can get that promotional package, and Paramount Plus can kind of use those movie executives or whoever those people are that put those together. I think that those bring added value to the fight fan.
If you're going to spend and invest $7 billion in a sport like ours where shit happens left and right, you never know who's going to get hurt, who's going to make it to a fight, who's not. Like, you better show up with the production. Damn. Like, yeah, you cannot be. Look, Disney sucks. Disney is so scared of everything that like you said, all the stuff that we used to love during the Zuffa era is gone. So now let's see what we get. Let's see if we get those way better opening your cold openings, right? Those pay-per-view intros and all that. Some way better cards, obviously. We'll have to wait and see here. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Paramount Plus brings. It looks like they are valuing the deal, and the UFC is going to be like their main source of sports entertainment. So I think they're going to get behind them quite significantly. But Eddie, we do have 3 more fights to talk about here on this pay-per-view card this weekend. Ivo Aslan takes on Iwo Baranowski. Eddie, you're going to have to tell me a little bit about Iwo here from Poland. I'm assuming he fought in KSW over there, Poland's #1 promotion. Ivo Aslan comes from Turkey. He's a very athletic guy, 6'3", has good power. His chin has been tested here at 205 pounds. What do you think about the newcomer from Poland?
The guy has a background in judo, right? He won the, I think it was the World Judo Juniors Championship. He took bronze anyway. He didn't win it. He took bronze, right? But it's really hard to place on any of these worldwide, competitions. He's got he's got submission wrestling medals. He's got judo medals. Like, he's got the grappling and the ground game down. He has that. It's, can he do it on the feet, right? Coming off the Dana White Contender Series, he got a knockout, if I'm not mistaken, in the first 20 seconds of the fight. Right, so he impressed definitely. He can win on the feet. I think he's gonna end up being on the ground, using the judo, using the grappling, and take that medal back to to Poland. But he's a black belt in judo. He's off the top of my head, black belt in judo. He, like I said, he's got all the tools he needs. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But Ivo Aslan is no punk. That guy's gonna be a tough out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of a hard debut for anybody. I hope this kid is as talented as a lot of guys say he is online, because Ibo Aslan's going to be a handful to come in and make your debut against.
100%. No, and I think he's going to live up to it. The new guy's going to live up to it.
Another fighter here, Eddie. Yeah. Sorry about that. We're breaking in and out there. But Eddie, another fight we got to talk about here is Mansour Abdul Malik, 8-0. This guy's very athletic. He's taking on Antonio Tricoli. I got him by knockout in this one. He's impressed us so far. Do you think he keeps the train rolling this weekend?
Yeah, in a very violent manner. That's all I had to say about that. This Mansour's going to fuck this dude up. I think he's just going to come in like a freight train and take him out. Tricoli, as nice as he is, I just think Mansour is just going to take. I mean, he's at home. Mansour fights. He trains out of Couture, if I'm not mistaken. I think, or Syndicate. I can't remember, but he's a local guy, so he's ready to go.
Yeah. So, and then starting off the card, Eddie, I like this matchup between Muhammad Naimov, who we've seen multiple times over the last 2 years. He's taking on Myron Santos from Brazil, 16-1. Santos, to me, is one of the upstarts in this division that we have to keep an eye out for. I think he's very talented, not only striking, but on the ground as well. And with that record of 17-1, this is a guy who I think is highly potential moving forward.
Yeah, no, he's got all the potential in the world for sure. And the thing I like about Santos, though, is that he has a very unassuming, not the skill set, the personality is very Anderson Silva-like, including the freaking voice. He's like the nicest person of all time, but he can crack your shit in the cage. Is really going to be wild. But Naimov's, like I said, Naimov's another really tough out for anybody. I am leaning Santos on this one for sure, though.
Yeah, I'm leaning Santos as well. I'm going to go with him by decision. But Eddie, that is all we have for the UFC 323 pay-per-view this week from Las Vegas, Nevada. There are some breaking news and headlines that we're going to get into from around the combat sports world before we sign off this week. First, we'll get into it right off the gate. Ronda Rousey's comeback is heating up. We've been talking about it for about the last 3 to 4 shows, and each week it seems there's a layer to the onion that keeps getting peeled off. Now, Eddie, it looks like she's returning not in the sport of MMA, but boxing. And Katie Taylor might be on the docket for her first boxing matchup. Eddie, Ronda Rousey is not someone who's known for her hands. Katie Taylor is a world championship boxer. What am I missing here?
Ronda's, I don't know, man. A big ass check that she's being given. I can't see any other reason for her to come back, right? Than somebody dangling a pretty fat check over her. Because what do you gain by coming back? Okay, if you come back to fight in any combat sport, especially combat sport you haven't competed in yet, especially knowing how bad your hands are historically, right? I know all the training footage was nice and everything as we wait for Brett to get back, but all the training footage was nice and everything. All the get some little better look here for you guys because I don't like the whole there we go. No, there we go. Anyway, here we go. You good?
Oh, yep. My bad, Eddie.
You're good. You're good. But what I was saying is,
we got a couple more topics here that we got to get to. But like I said, there's a blizzard outside, so I'm in and out of Wi-Fi reception, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. With Ronda Rousey, just real quick.
So
it's
we were talking about Ronda Rousey, Katie Taylor. Mm-hmm. She's going to get murked if she goes in there and gets Katie Taylor, right? It's just not going to happen. It's not her skill set. It's not where her strengths are. I'd rather see the Kayla Harrison matchup, Eddie, which we're going to talk about here now. Kayla, is that kind of how? Well, I think that Kayla Harrison would win, but I'm more interested in that matchup. They're former sparring partners in the Olympics for judo back when they were young girls. I think there's a story you could build there. You could. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Ronda back at all. What does she have to gain from coming back? Nothing. As we lose Brett again. There's nothing for Ronda to gain from coming back. If she comes back and wins, nobody cares. If she comes back and loses, she gets embarrassed again. Like it's all, there's not a lot here on the plus side for Ronda Rousey. So I don't see what the point is. I just don't. Like I said, other than people bringing her back, maybe this is her coming back to see if she can still fight, right? Take a boxing match that's not going to count in the MMA whatsoever. See if you can still do it. And then maybe, I don't know, call Dana for the White House. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing to see. Again, nothing to gain for her whatsoever. Like she's good, she's ready. Her in my mind, her legacy's still there as one of the greatest females of all time, if not, top 2 for sure, top 3 maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see
any part of Ronda Rousey anywhere in near a ring or a cage at all. I don't know, jiu-jitsu tournament or something, girl. I don't know what you want. All right, as we wait to see if old Brett's gonna be able to make it back here. Other topics here we could talk about as I had to pull up our outline, folks, because again, this is Brett's show. So, did I just click X on that? All right, yeah, I did. All right. Yeah. So the other one, yeah. Oh, here we go. You good?
All right. Here I'm in here, Eddie. Fight fans, sorry for the technical difficulties. We're going to have a couple topics left over from the show tonight, but we're going to end a little early tonight just due to the technical difficulties. We have broke down the entire UFC 323 pay-per-view card, and we're going to give you guys any breaking news and instant analysis next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, our normal time. Sorry for the inconvenience this week, and sorry to you too, Eddie, for, can't control the weather, but it is what it is.
You're all good, folks. Hey, live TV is what we do. Shit happens, all right? We'll catch you guys in the next one.
All right, fight fans, thanks for joining us this week. We will see you next Wednesday, bringing